Out of the ruins, the blight beast came at them, massive and roaring. Its claws scraped the rocky ground, scouring out deep sores oozing pure corruption, leaving drops of black, mercury-like mildew on moss and stones in its wake. Welcome back to Symbaroum, and a session we recorded at GothCon 2019. The adventure we will be playing is called The Mark of the Beast, and takes place in the city of Thistle Hold, right next to the great forest of Davokar. Joining Hjalmar and Craig is Petter Nallo from Helmgast, one of the dark minds behind Cult of Inti Lost, and game master for this session is none other than Mattias Johnsson Haake from Free League, one of the main writers and creators of Symbaroum. Twilight falls, Davokar darkens, as we begin.
We're going to play Symbaroum, and for guests today we have Mattias. Good morning, Mattias.
Good morning, good morning.
How are you today, sir?
I'm a little bit tired, but this is going to be a blast.
Yes.
Yeah, and I hope in many senses of that word, because you're in for a Davokar Symbaroum kind of murder mystery.
Ooh, nice.
Oh yeah.
And with us today also, we have none other than Petter Nallo himself. Hello, Petter!
Hello. I'm also tired after yesterday's evening's adventures.
Adventures in Gothenburg.
Yes,
Ooh.
exactly.
Not in, or was it in Davos?
But I'm very eager for this scenario.
And Craig, how are you today, sir?
I am very good, very excited once again to be playing some Symbaroum. The only question on my mind is I'll need to be reminded what a panzer is, because that's what I am.
It's actually the Queen's personal royal guard. It's not like you're manning the palace watch or something. At the heart of the setting is a people called the Ambrians, and this people has been forced to flee their former homeland of Alberetor down south of the mountain range called the Titans. You two, that's Craig and that's Hjalmar, have opted to or been tasked to stay behind, while about 20 years ago the big migration started. So nowadays the Queen Corinthia and her people have already settled up north in the new homeland of Umbria, and you are about to join them. And not only that, you are on a sacred mission, or at least a mystical mission, to bring a mighty artifact called the Sunstone from a tower in the dying Alberetor to the town of Thistle Hold in the north of Umbria, at the border of the giant forest of Davokar. And you are to meet the person, a fellow, because Bartala, Hjalmar, you are a wizard of the order, and another master of the order is called Vernam, and he works as a tutor in Thistle Hold, and you are supposed to bring him the stone. And after that, you have, together with you travels a man called Kvarek, who is native of these northern lands, and not of the Umbrian people, but he has worked as a caravan guard, and you saw fit to hire him as your guide on your way to Thistle Hold. And he apparently is in need of some cash. I don't know if he has said anything about what he plans to do.
Well, I think he has said that he will settle down, have a calm life after this. He's quite an old man.
Yeah, he's quite an old man.
So he will
At
take
least in his 50s, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have a different opinion?
I think in the 50s, but he had quite a hard life in the wild, so like this sort of purse of silver will let him to get somewhere to live and settle down.
Yeah. And we don't know much about him except that he looks like capable, and
I don't know. Is he talkative? Does he?
Has he mentioned anything that he has done, or places he has gone, or something like that?
Well, I don't know. He doesn't talk that much, but it's always like memories of better days, and that. Yeah, it's time to settle down now. Some sort of envious look at you that you are so young, and you have life ahead of you and about me, myself.
So we're quite privileged, me and...
Absolutely. Orland is actually the noble house of Dar. He is, however, quite alone as a member of that house, because the Great War that raged in Alberetor and which eventually killed the land. It's totally infertile, the blight sickness is spreading and the land is dying. Also killed his family. So he's the only one left of his house. Hopefully, maybe there will be a place to find in Alberetor, in this new land, where you can start rebuilding your house and your name.
Certainly, I am hopeful for this. It has always been hard, but I am proud of my heritage and proud of my people, and I feel that this new land, this new frontier, can be made to work. And it will work. We all work together. After all, there are worse things out there than us.
You two served together in the Great War, on the very end of the Great War.
A novice at the Academy of Automagica. And so I haven't studied for so long. Maybe I was picking up the powers and somehow enough to be in the war.
You mainly served because you also know a bit of medicine.
Yes.
You have the ability, it's called Medicus. And also you should know that you also know a lot about the beasts of the wild, and you know a bit about history. The order of Automagica is not only for, mages, it's also for scholars. And I think maybe you lean towards, just like this Master Vernam, as far as you know, you haven't met him, but as far as you know, he's also a scholar rather than a wizard.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So yes, more of a this
more of a
true.
historian, and you have studied medicine, you have studied alchemy.
Yeah.
So one of the things you are really hoping for is to learn a lot about from the witches of Davokar.
Yeah, the herbal knowledge.
Yeah.
So much to draw from there. What city am I from?
You have traveled for about a month through the mountains. You have stayed clear of the larger cities like the Queen's city of Yndaros, and you have made your way up to Thistle Hold because you are carrying the Sunstone. What you are carrying is actually very valuable, and if someone knew that you were carrying it, you would probably be targeted by not only thieves but other wizards who would like to lay hands on and claim this artifact.
Right. Okay.
Maybe the church as well, because as the god of the people is Prius, the sun god, this stone could be interpreted as an artifact of the god.
And how has the journey been so far? Have we had fightings? Have we had any attempted robberies or anything else?
No, you made it through the Titans. That's usually the crucial part, together with a larger caravan, the one that Farek followed down south and then tagged along with you up as well. There's always wild animals, and especially because you were traveling in spring, as soon as the mountain passes had cleared from snow, the predators are kind of hungry. And also there are robbers, but they don't usually tend to attack larger caravans.
Yeah.
Especially ones that travel with wizards and warriors. And
Farek, I guess, I take it, doesn't know that you're carrying and what kind of artifact you're carrying or why I'm hired to follow you. Or
you know where you're headed, that you are tasked to bring them to like the doorstep of this Master Vernam.
Yes.
So that they make it all the way. I think you know that they carry an artifact of certain value and meaning, because during the really, really cold nights in the mountains, that stone has actually helped you to keep warm. Maybe you don't know exactly how powerful it is and how meaningful it is, and maybe you don't care, because among your people these kinds of items are often tabooed. They not only help, they also affect nature and creation in a way which sparks a reaction that can actually infest both people and nature as well. And you've seen this during your formative years in Davokar, where where the dark of corruption has started to spread in people and in the woods.
Yeah, I will probably try to at least not touch it.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very good idea.
Well, I feel
Not touch it.
I'm not really a man of knowledge, at least in that area, so I know I'm taking something important. That's enough for me.
Very, very important now is that none of you, not even Kvarek, who is from here, know very much about Ambria and the Ambrian society. You know some about the people because you lived among them, you fought with them, but that's been 2 decades ago when you were just teens. And much has happened, and you know nothing about Thistle Hold, and you know very little about what has happened to the noble houses and so on. Anyway, there are rolling clouds covering the evening sky, and heavy rain has been hammering down on you for several hours now, soaking your clothes and turning the dirt road into mud. But that's kind of all right, because soon your month-long journey from Albertor, the blight-stricken homeland of the Ambrian people, will be over. The wooden palisade of Thistle Hold appears through the curtain of rain, and behind it, closer to the borders of Davokar forest, the fires of the beacon struggles against the rain, high up at least 300 feet towards the dark of the skies. You dismount your horses and lead them the last steps up to the gatehouse, where a stern watchman collects your gate fee. It's 1 shilling per leg. That is 2 for each of you and 4 for each of your horses. And you are let inside Thistle Hold. In front of you lies the town of Mayor Latsifor Nightpitch. The town in the shadow of Davokar. The town of explorers, of fortune hunters, of merchants, but also the town where the Ambrian civilization meets the wild and meets the untamed. And somewhere inside this palisade is where your journey will end, at the threshold of your contact, Venerable Master Vernam. So you come from Yndaros, from the south. You have passed through which is called the camp, more or less, called Blackmoor. And you now enter Thistle Hold. You have the great forest starting just a couple of 100 meters away from the north of the walls. You have dismounted, as I said, and you have no idea where to go next. Evening is falling, and you probably should find somewhere to get rid of your horses, a stable or maybe even an inn where you can...
Well, I'd look about the town. Quite interested, to be honest. Looks like a fine place. I take a moment to adjust my fortified chainmail, adjusting my hair. I'm a reasonably youngish man in my, approaching my 30s. Short, dark hair. So yes, typical Ambrian style of shaven and short hair, if possible. I look around, let out a sigh, and say, "Well, Bartala, where is your friend again?"
A few drops of water is running down my hooded cloak, dripping into my face, and I pull the cloak around me, smiling a little bit, sort of sympathetically about how dreadful this weather is to Orlan and Kvarek, our barbarian guide. I am also young, young adult, between 20s and 30s, and I see, I look up and I see the beacon flaring quite strongly actually in the rain. I say, well, I'm not sure actually, we made it here, so surely we can just ask some guides for help. I'm sure someone would know where Master Vernam is, and I think to myself, what did they say? What was I supposed to look for to find him?
Well, you could probably try to look up the local chapter of Ordo Magica, your rotation. That would be one thing. On the other hand, if he's an Order Master and he's tutoring in town, Maybe he's known also among, the people at the town hall. This, it should be said that, and you know this from talking to people on your journey, that Thistle Hold was built less than 10 years ago, very quickly, by the blood and the sweat of goblins mostly, and ogres. There is, they say, a short ways outside town is a goblin village or camp called Karabadok, whose inhabitants aren't allowed to live inside the palisade, but they are doing most of the hard labor in here. So, and all houses are built in wood, of course. They are new. It feels like, and at least this main road, the promenade, which runs north to south, or south to north, is it's cobblestone. So now you don't have to get muddy feet, but instead wet.
So everything looks very structured.
Very structured, but also very, very cramped. It's, as I showed you in some of the villages, some streets, the bigger streets are quite broad, but in other places it's like very tight and narrow alleys between the houses. And they say that about 6,000 people live here permanently, and then there are a lot of guest workers and a lot of fortune hunters and explorers that stay here before and after they go out into the woods. So maybe 10,000 people at the same time. Asking people is often a good place to start.
Has Quarek been here?
Maybe you have passed through one time. I mean, where you grew up is more or less here, but that was when the Jesuits and Shiften Halaban dominated this land.
The good times.
The good times, yeah.
But perhaps I remember an inn or somewhere.
Inns, there should be inns like at every square. So I guess you just leading your horses, you make your way up.
Yes, I start sort of taking the lead a little bit more now, whereas Quarek has had the lead traveling through the wilderness, knowing that a lot more. Me continually harassing him about questions about the wilds, if he's ever been up in the Davakar forest, what he would have done there, what things he might have been running into, what creatures, what herbs, any kind of occurrences, is sort of a bombardment of questions. Even when I have exhausted his knowledge and gritted teeth.
Yeah, Quarek, I mean, he is old, his hair is grey, and he has a quite big bald spot on his head, but he's still long and of course wet with the rain. He seems he's like so tired from all the questions. Rather the questions.
Maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the hour of the afternoon, but there isn't very much people out in the streets. You have no problem making your way along the promenade towards. You remember the antique plaza is like the heart of town, where a lot of the curiosities and artifacts found in the forest of Davakar are sold mainly to nobles from the south of Ambria who love to brag about their cool antique stuff that from the old ancient empire of Symbaroum. You haven't even made it to this plaza before someone comes running up towards you and straight for you. A small girl, of course, dripping wet, clad in very simple, like townsfolk clothes. She can't be 20 yet, maybe closer to 14, 15 years old, and she looks positively petrified. Comes running and grabs hold of your arm and looks over her shoulder. Please, help me. Don't let the black cloak take me. Don't let the black cloak take me.
What is this? Who are you?
And shortly after, 4 thugs, you can't describe them as anything else, comes running after her, holding axes in their hands. They don't look barbaric, they look Ambrian, like your fellow. They actually have armor on inside this palisade. And they are all having matching black cloaks and with the hoods up. And they stop at about maybe 10 meters away from you.
How many are they?
4 of them.
I give a look
Don't
to...
let the Black Cloak save me.
I give a look to Kavrik.
Please.
And as I step forward, I just look to my horse, take a few steps back, collecting my two-handed sword.
Is that her? Is that the Flayer? Is that who killed all those people?
You hear from behind you. People are starting to gather.
I'm saying, guards,
Help
guards,
me. Don't
there's
let
some
them
problem
take
here. Are there any guards around? Or
You don't see any guards, and from what you heard, this town is very, very peaceful, normally. I mean, there's no crime, except in the northern part, around the Toad Square, around the beacon. There are some problems with, treasure hunters and that kind of rabble. But no, you don't see any guards nearby. And these guys come slowly closer. And you hear someone answer this baritone of a man. I heard. I mean, she can be an abomination. It's totally normal. They can look like normal people, and then suddenly they and then they hush when these people, the thugs, are closing in a little bit faster. Help me!
I look at the little girl. I try to make out. Is this a normal?
They're calling me a witch.
Is this a normal human girl? Is there anything odd about her?
Roll, please, for vigilant.
I roll a 3.
No, there's nothing special about her. You notice that maybe even if they are Ambrian, she's wearing a necklace, at least, that doesn't look Ambrian, and maybe she has some kind of ties to the clan folks of the forest, so-called barbarians.
Do I know anything about the Ambrians and their ways of liking to take artifacts and things from the Doublecart forest, and
I mean,
they have a
there's
reputation for this?
Yeah, that's a real problem in this area where the Ambrians don't have any regard for the warnings of both the clan people, the barbarians, and also you've heard that the elves, and especially an organization or some kind of sect called the Iron Pact, also warn that the humans shouldn't be clamping around in the forest, because they can really stir up some shit if they do. They are like 5 steps away from you now and closing in.
I pulled my cloak around me, even immediately regretting that I'm pushing some extra of the rainwater closer to my body, and I see Orlan reaching for his sword. So I say, what is this? What do you want?
In the name of Balmelo the Black Cloak, give us the heretic now, or you will be branded heretics yourself. Your call. We want her now. Balmelo, you heard that name. A witch hunter that roams the border villages of Doublecart, hunting for what he calls heretics.
Does he harass my people? Or is it...
He has been. I mean, the Ambrians have been, always, since they came, and especially the witches.
And the girl doesn't look like an Ambrian.
She doesn't look like an Ambrian at all. You are pretty sure when you look at her closer that the pendant she's wearing, that's of barbarian design or native design.
I think I step forward. Listen here, young man. We don't want this to end in blood, do we?
Hand her over, or it will. Who are you? Put down your. Is that?
I have a sword. And a shield on my arm.
Okay, so you're going to make this difficult, are you?
It's at this point I step forward. Now, despite having reached for my sword, I've let it now rest.
What's the girl to you?
The girl is nothing, gentlemen.
Then hand her
However,
over.
this is most uncouth. What sort of manner of people abscond a girl off the streets? Now
She's an abomination. She's a witch. Ask Balmelo. Do you question Balmelo?
We would love to question
if
him.
you do, you will die now.
You-
You will die now.
And it's at this-
Hand her over.
And so at this point, I sort of stand and say, "Sir, you address a former panzer of the Queen herself."
The Queen has no jurisdiction over the Black Cloak Balmelo. Only Prius has. Only the Sun God. Hand her over right now, or there will be blood.
Shall we fight or shall we talk?
Come on! And they launch, the four of them, towards you. The girl tries to break free. Do you try to restrain her, hold her?
I just pull her behind me. So
No,
that
she runs.
Okay.
She flees, but they don't seem to care about her now because they want blood.
I have been looking nervously between the two of you, and now things happen very quickly. I was standing in front of us, sort of shaping a little delta formation, if you will.
Yeah.
But now, as both Orlan stepped up on my right side as I saw it, and Kvarek stepped up on my left side, I was ending up a little bit behind the two of them, with the girl to my side, who has now ran off.
I would have stepped in front of my friend and also tried to maneuver myself to be just opposite Kvarek. I am, after all, used to working in units and military strategy. I want us both covering each other. Yes.
Yeah, I of course try to protect the...
The first thing we need to figure out is initiative. Please tell me.
13.
10.
11.
It's Kvarek, who's first, the barbarian warrior. And then we have Bartala, the wizard. Then you, all three of you, act before the henchmen of Balmelo, the witch hunter. They come at you with axes. These guys are out for blood. I mean, they are serious.
When they rush up at me, I pierce my sword, aiming for the throat.
Yeah, you don't run against them, you let them come to you.
Yeah,
right.
I don't want to break the formation, I still have my shield
Smart.
up.
So, please, man, you are to roll an attack test.
11.
That's a hit. So, and he falls down, bleeding, screaming. And you see, right before the other three advances at you, that they obviously notice what Kvarek has done to their friend. And they immediately start to hesitate a little bit. It's your turn. Bartala.
I do not regularly cast spells. I have learned something just to defend myself, but yes, I'm mostly scholar and a medicus. I'm going to try and lash out with my brimstone cascade spell. I'm going to aim in front of them. We've got 3 thugs still standing, so I'm going to aim between the two in front of me, on the ground in front of me, to bring up a wall of cinders and nastiness there.
Yeah, you don't have to roll a test to do that. You just pray for nature, for creation to bring you fire. And you also have a bit of sulfur in your hand that you throw up in the air and you burn a nasty black and suddenly very dry piece of cobblestone in front of them. Your turn.
I simply move to equally mirror my other companion, going for the furthest individual on the right, drawing my two-handed sword and swinging for him.
Yeah.
I roll 11.
So you hit him, and then you roll the damage dice.
Which is 1d12.
12. Yay.
10.
But that's enough. You hurt him really bad in his right leg, and he also on the ground. And now the two ones left are suddenly not on their way forward, are digging in their heels, and they are obviously not going to attack you, but are going to try to run away and leaving their friends. They do. One of them shouts over the shoulder, "Just you wait until Balmelo hears of this! Oh, you're going to pay! You're going to pay!" And they run off to the north.
I look at that and I see this sort of remainders of smoke drift away from the spell, and my comrades probably drying off their blades.
I'm looking down on the wounded men.
They are alive, both of them, but heavily bleeding. Yeah.
The girl, is she in sight?
The girl, no. Nowhere to be seen. And the people that crowded the street just a couple of minutes ago have also started to back away and vanish into alleyways. And
I wiped the blood from my
however,
sword.
now you can hear the unmistakable sound of ironclad feet clamping up the street from the south.
Let's be on our way then, I think.
Yes, let's be on our way.
Yeah, you try to leave before the watchman arrives.
Yes, I find this rather unfortunate, but I agree.
Yeah, maybe even turn into one of the smaller alleyways just to vanish out of sight.
Yes, let's make this quick and efficient. I look a bit hesitant that the girl has disappeared, but as soon as we turn a corner, I'm going to ask Kvarek, was that some girl you recognized? Or was she of...
No, I didn't know her.
Why did you step up so eagerly to defend her then?
Ambrians. I don't like them.
Now, I would hope you don't feel that is of all the people around here. They seemed rather misinformed.
Well, they were thugs, obviously, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, well, let's find an inn or something, and we can ask for your master over there.
Yes, sure. Or at least where the local, outpost of Ordo Magica would be.
Do they have beer, and can we find it here in an inn, perhaps?
Well, we shall have to find out, won't we? Let's find out.
Yeah, you work your way up through the city. Already around this place, you can see
The antique plaza.
you have mostly shops. You have the town hall, the square. When you ask about a good inn, people direct you towards the ruin. You have actually heard of it already on the caravan. People were talking about Thistle Hold as this, this place where you can make your dreams come true, your fortunes, you can woods and salvage a lot of treasure and get very, very rich. And in this context also many mentions the legendary ruin. There's also another inn that you have heard about, which is called Winged Ladle Inn. But you have also heard that one should be really, really expensive. And you don't have that much cash right now. So
Not that much left.
you will probably see it when you walk down.
It's a big inn located in a tree. Fantastic sort of thing we would want to see even if we were not staying there. I feel a little aftertaste of having used magic, sort of a nauseous feeling in my mouth, and as it ebbs away, I start feeling a little bit better. I pull the cloak close again around me again, and I feel close to the side of my right side. I feel the sunstone pressing against me as I have it in an inner pocket, warming me slightly and giving me some encouragement.
I lean over to Kavarak and seem a little dour of mood. I did not find that enjoyable. 5 seconds here, and already we possibly angered some individuals. Is that something that happens in these parts of the world? A witch hunter? What power does this man have?
I don't know about his power, but he is a trouble. I think we are. Are you planning to stay long here in Thistle Hold?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not now in Thistle Hold, but somewhere in these lands.
Well, you were quick with the sword. That was impressive. It's just a big sword.
Thank you. Well, as I said, I did serve the Queen, although I'm a little concerned that people would so readily dismiss her authority in this part. Strange to me.
This is close to the wilds. The forest does things with your mind. Wilderness sort of seeps through.
I frown and nod and seem not much cheered up by this.
You will feel better after a beer and a warm meal.
And a little bit later, you have found yourself to the ruin. Will you actually want to stay a night here in town as well before going about it? I mean, you're probably eager to. I'm speaking to Kvarek now, to get your pay and to be on your merry way.
Yeah, but I want to see them because I was going to deliver them to the footstep of their master, and we haven't gotten there yet. And of course, I want the silver, and I still am a bit worried that, even if I don't say though, that the sort of little argument we had with the black clothes might sort of come back and bite us. So I want to be close to them so nothing bad happens.
Okay, so at least for the evening you are staying with them, and you have managed to secure a room at the ruin, and you have managed to find a table at the dining room, a very lively dining room with lots of people that look like exactly what you imagine that treasure hunters or fortune hunters would dress, and they at every table people are talking rumors about the virgin ruins out in the forest, and the rumors about vanishing expeditions, and rumors about successful expeditions, and everything here is talk about treasure and about ruin and about the forest development.
It's a bit intimidating, I find, almost. I look around, do they sort of show off their findings? Do they have items? Do they have herbs and stuff like that to each other?
I mean, they flaunt their curiosities. And you know for a fact, because you heard on the road, that there are also forgers working, Ambrians making fake Symbaroum items and stuff. So you can't know for sure it's real unless maybe you could make that judgment call based on the studies you've done over the years. But for most laymen, you haven't much more to go on than what people tell you about the stuff they are selling or that they are parading. Right now, as this is, people haven't had more than one, maybe two beers, so it's still kind of calm and not very loud in here. But you imagine as the night goes on, the bragging and the rumor mill will grind even louder, at least.
I'm drinking some honeyed wine and enjoying a bit of the warmth in here.
Actually, they have some herbal waters that are famous for the people of the forest. Maybe that would interest you.
Absolutely, yes. That's what I would drink.
So and then the food is very, basic. It's stew and it's meat and it's turnips and it's really, really tasty. But it's because the Ambrians and you Albarians, you're used to sort of processed foods like pies and sausage and that kind of pâtés. Here you have you see what you eat. It's meat, it's some kind of turnip or something too, and it's a lot of seasoning.
Perhaps this is a good place to ask for your master. I mean, the innkeeper might know who is. He's a famous man.
Yeah. I guess
behind the bar, you have at least some senior member of the staff standing behind the counter, drying tankards that will soon be filled with beer or ale, or as it's called, the barbarian drinks. It's called black brew.
Yeah. Well, I will probably go up to them. There is a bit of curiosity about the things that people flaunt still. I mean, we're very close to the forest now, and it's a growing curiosity. And I could also not really wait to sort of disprove the ones that would be fake and go into that. But I push that aside for a bit as Kvarek encourages me to get down to business, and I move up to one of these servants people, and I ask, is there anyone I could ask here about... excuse me?
Yeah.
Is there anyone that I could ask here about...
Beer?
Well, yes, not that right now. I was looking for...
Meat?
The local Ordo Magica outpost.
I should have known. That's an order medallion you're wearing, right? I know a little bit about research and your ways.
I'm very pleased that...
I do. You were asking, the tower, it's in the southern part of town. You can't miss it. It's like, not as high as the beacon, of course, but it's tall tower. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you.
Yeah.
We will be on our way after our food.
But I wouldn't stroll around town after dark.
Yes, I suppose.
You've heard your newcomers?
Yes, we are. I say as I kind of join in at this part of the conversation.
And I feel my purse a little bit as it jingles a little bit more empty than we set out for our journey. And we ended up suddenly in this very expensive inn. And I'm thinking to myself, should we really stay in here? Well, I'm sure we can handle it for now if it's just down to the tower.
Maybe, yeah. But there's a killer on the loose.
A killer on the loose?
Yeah, they're calling him the Flayer. Really nasty stuff. Oh, man.
I heard someone talk about that on the streets, yes. What is this?
Yeah, it's probably some kind of raving blight beast of the forest that's made its way inside the palisade. It's horrific. I don't know any details.
Oh goodness, what should we look out for?
But after dark, I wouldn't go out. Not alone, at least.
Oh no, we're in a good company. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. I warned you now, so I don't know. Is there anyone particular? Because a lot of the wizards come here to
yes,
drink.
We're looking for
have master. Yeah.
And looking for an old colleague of mine. I say, and I tug my little blessed robe that I've been given by the academy a little bit impatiently as he's going on about things.
Okay.
And we're looking for my master Vernam. It's an old colleague of mine.
Vernam.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not in the tower. No.
Where is he then?
No. Well, sometimes he's in the tower. Yeah, because he's one of the
Yeah. But
guys.
do you know where he lives?
Yeah. He's got a school. He tutors like the rich people's kids. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In stuff. I don't know. I actually can send about one of our dishwashers.
Oh, would you please? Fantastic.
I
yes.
can.
Well, we have another drink.
But okay, beer, meat, wine.
The herbal.
What? Water. Water of the forest.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Right. Coming up.
I let out a little sigh of annoyance, remarking, goodness me, are all the people around here so long-winded?
I don't know. You were talking about killer in the town as if we weren't able to handle ourselves.
Well, it did sound rather unusual. Gavrik, in this part, is it usual for creatures of the forest to enter towns?
No,
Do you think it's true then? It's probably not true, is it?
it might be. Picking up my pipe.
Your cup is brought to you.
Yes, I sip the cup. How does it taste, this herbal water?
It tastes much like flavored water. Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing much more than that. That is, it feels healthy.
Okay.
That's what you can roll an alchemy.
I don't really like healthy stuff. I like very sweet things myself.
Yeah. To roll an alchemy test against your cunning value.
2.
You're pretty sure that there are no effective ingredients in this. It's just tasteful water.
They've just added a random moss, perhaps, or a lich.
Tastes a little bit fruity, but also a little bit like dirt.
Say if I usually have a sweet tooth, and I like sweet things. It's just
This would be very much nicer if you added some honey or some. In Alberto, you used to grow sugar beets.
Yes.
Extract sugar. Yeah.
And I taste it, and I look a bit disapprovingly at it, and I ask, would you be able to sweeten this with something, perhaps a bit of honey?
Oh, of course. The maid just goes away. But before she comes back, a small creature, one of the goblins of town, comes up to your table wearing a little cap that he takes off and holds in his hand. And then he stands at the side of your table. You know, in Alberto there are no goblins. They are native of this new land, Alberto. But you've heard as much. I mean, they work, they toil.
I see. I look quite fascinated for a moment.
Me too. We just stare, I think.
So, what do you want?
Lead?
Lead?
Lead us to somewhere.
Oh, you wish to lead us to...
Wait, don't say it. Where do you wish to lead us?
The academy.
That sounds right.
To me too?
We should just follow him, I think.
How do we know he's not... Do you work...
Follow.
Do you work here, little one? You work...
For the bartender.
No, he's a dishwasher.
Dish.
Right. All right then. Fine. I leave a few shillings
Yeah.
for us to pay and start following this little curious creature.
He's dressed in something that looks like human or Ambrian kids' clothes.
So he's almost dressed up, thing. How dreadful or funny. I wonder if... Do we have different languages? Do we know that goblins speak their own language?
Apparently he knows some words in your language.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know for a fact, you've heard a little bit as a scholar, you know that they talk...
Practical, if you say.
practical language, yeah.
Okay.
So he starts leading you almost all the way across town, and you're following Inadar's road.
Can we leave the horses?
So that's taken care of. And he leads you through, and you get pretty close to the beacon. And you know this beacon is like a lighthouse for those traveling the woods.
But during the road, when we are on the promenade and we can see the beacon above us, and we're going closer to the north gate, I asked the goblin, isn't the academy down south?
No, that's no.
Oh, maybe it's his own. He was saying he was teaching
At
the
a school.
nobles. Well, maybe that's another one. But you're right. They did say that the academy was south.
He kind of skips ahead in front of you. He
I
seems
keep-
perfectly happy now that he gets to do his job.
I keep walking along as he walks too.
I'm a bit watchful, of course. What's going on?
So he leads you and down this square and towards the Park of the Elders. A tall, narrow building. It must be 4 stories high. And as well as the other houses around it. But this one is very narrow. It looks like it's 7 meters wide and then very tall. And he points at the door. The Academy.
I look around. Is there a sign on it saying anything like that?
Yeah, actually there is. It says the Academy of Master Vernam on the sign above the door.
Well, I suppose we are here. Thank you,
There
sir.
are windows on the bottom floor, and they are the curtains are drawn, so you can't see anything inside.
Yes.
No, he has. Okay.
Thank you. I look at him like, is he expecting payment of some kind? He is holding his hand out.
And his small cap in his hand.
I give him a shilling.
Bye bye. That was obviously more than he expected. There are also Arctics. This was obviously more in any case.
I shrug.
I shrug as well and will knock on the door quite firmly.
You wait for a little while and no reply.
I knock again.
The rain has died off somewhat, but it's still hammering about the...
I feel if the door is unlocked.
It's open.
Well then.
Oh! What? What? You hear from inside.
Master Sailor, is that you?
And then you hear
Master Vernam, is that you?
as someone hurries down the final few steps of the stair, and you swing the door open.
Yeah.
In front of you is a woman in her 40s, maybe, looking kind of sharp, dressed, not exclusive or anything, but well dressed. Obviously, someone of quite a stature, at least, in town. Grey hair that's tied back in a knot. And you all immediately see on her expression that she's not only surprised to see someone opening her door, but it is something haunted about her expression as well. Like she's not only surprised, she's scared.
Oh, hello there. Don't
Who are
worry.
you?
I'm Bartala. I'm from the Automatica. We were looking for my colleague Master Vernam. No one was opening the door, so we were wondering.
You're standing in a very narrow hallway. And there are doors to the left and right, and then there's a staircase that leads up, and a small corridor to the right of the staircase. And she's standing right at the foot of the stairs.
Yes, I try and in posture look immediately take a sort of, regimented, polite stance. Like, we are very sorry to trouble you, madam, but as my friend says, That is why we are here.
Oh, okay, close the door.
I close the door behind us.
You were Bartala?
That's right. Bartala from the Order Magica.
From the local chapter?
No, we come from down south.
Oh, I'm Esberta?
It's better. Nice to meet you. We've been traveling for quite a long time. We're here to just meet Master Vernam. Are you all right?
Well, no, I can't say that I am.
My lady, what is the issue?
You notice, all of you, that there are no, this being an academy, him being a tutor, should be pupils, because it's not nighttime yet, but you don't hear anything.
Where is everyone?
Oh, I better follow me.
I do.
You're an acquaintance of Vernam?
Oh yes, we're old colleagues.
I've sent everybody home. Come. And she starts leading you up the stairs. It's basically a staircase in the middle, and then there are small rooms. Some doors are open, and you can see a library, or it looks like a library, and a tutoring hall with reading, these high tables where people are probably copying text and working on their handwriting and so on.
I'm looking down behind me.
But there's no one here now.
I'm looking down behind me as Kvarek is following. And I'm sorry, Kvarek. There are always intrigues and dramas around the magic academies. Would you prefer to wait at the inn, or are you coming with us? I don't want to, if you don't, drag you along. But
Well, since my silver is closer to Vernam, I'm coming along.
Oh yes, what was it? She was supposed to bring me to his doorstep. Right.
Esberta obviously overhears you talking. Maybe what you're about to see is well, she leads you up the stairs to the top floor, where she stops by, brace yourselves. And she swings it open.
I pull my robe around me.
There is blood everywhere. Literally everywhere inside. There's a small room, probably an office, but your first reaction is blood. When your eyes fixate on something, it's not on the desk, it's not on the blackboard, it's not on the shelves, it's on the body hanging from the ceiling, upside down, bare of skin. Flayed. All the entrails on the ground below. The skin in a heap, just under the head.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying where we played The Mark of the Beast for Symbaroum. Symbaroum is published by our friends at Free League Publishing. Our game master was Mattias Johnsson Haake, and we were also joined by Petter Nallo from Helmgast. The music was created by Halgrath and used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check them out at cryochamber.bandcamp.com and their YouTube channel for more amazing dark ambient. We also used the official Symbaroum intro by the Iron Pact Orchestra. We've also utilized a number of sound effects from freesound.org. Extra special thanks go to Tom Murr for helping us to edit this session. Thank you. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, and David, for their generous support. And we would of course like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and see you soon again.